So Islam Makhachev just destroyed JDM in their fight last night, winning a unanimous decision 50-45 all round. And he is now a 2-division champion of the UFC. Just like I predicted. Now, I did say in my previous video that I wanted JDM to win, and I did want JDM to win, but I was realistic about what was coming. I knew that JDM wasn't going to be able to stuff any of the takedowns. I thought the only chance that JDM has in winning this fight is if he keeps it on the feet and he keeps on the outside and he pops in with jabs, pops in with straights, hits him with uppercuts if he tries to take him down. Like I've said in many videos before, when there's a wrestler versus a striker, the wrestler always has the advantage because the striker is not able to get their game off properly. They're not able to throw combinations as, readily as they would want to because of the threat of the takedown, and that can really interfere with a striker's game plan. So in total, Islam Makhachev landed 30 significant strikes and 19 minutes of control time. That is ridiculous. And he landed all 4 out of the 4 takedowns that he shot. When we compare that to JDM, he only landed 18 significant strikes, and that just feeds into the whole narrative of wrestlers have the advantage here. A striker can't get his hands going when he's worried about being taken down. Now, Islam Makhachev on the ground did attempt multiple submissions against JDM, but JDM did actually a pretty good job. I don't think many people are giving him a lot of credit. He did quite a good job at stopping those submissions there, to be fair. At one point during the fight, JDM tried to take Islam Makhachev down. What are you doing? The only way you're going to win this fight is if you keep yourself on the feet, you pop him with jabs, you hit him with uppercuts if he comes in, you stay on the outside and don't let him take you down. So the last thing that you want to do is take Islam Makhachev down. He tried to take him down, but then he landed on the bottom and Islam Makhachev was on the top. So it doesn't even count as a takedown, so that was an absolute complete waste of time. Throughout the fight, Makhachev did land a good few leg kicks, which then in round 5 you could see that Jack Della Maddalena's leg was compromised from those calf kicks. And obviously Joe Rogan, he loves his calf kicks. He was going on, those calf kicks are great, man. Love Joe Rogan, I'm not hating.
Why are you gay?
They were very, very good calf kicks, so obviously you could see that it was hindering Jack Della Maddalena a bit. So let's talk about what this actually means for Islam Makhachev's legacy, having just became the welterweight champion. The win has tied him with Anderson Silva's UFC record of 16 consecutive victories, which is a big achievement. He previously held the lightweight title, as you guys know, which he vacated to move up a weight class for this fight. Technically, he's not a champion of both divisions because apparently the UFC doesn't really do that anymore. I can understand why, to be fair, because it can be a bit of a ball ache trying to get the fighter to keep going up and then keep going down and blah, blah, blah. I can understand that. But make no mistake about it, he never lost the belt. Islam Makhachev never lost the lightweight belt. So, in my opinion, he is a 2-division champion, whether he technically is on paper or not. So throughout the fight, each round was pretty much the same. 2 minutes of forward striking pressure by Makhachev, JDM would throw a strike in desperation, and then Islam would take him down and control him on the ground for the rest of the round. And whether or not you think that the strikes that he put on JDM on the ground were significant or not, he was still controlling him, he was still keeping him there. If you're moving up a weight class, there's a big difference in strength, especially seeing as the 155 division, after that it goes straight up to 170, so there's a 15-pound weight difference there. So obviously the people who are walking around at 170 are going to have more strength than someone who's 155 on average. And for Islam Makhachev to do it the way he did, it was great. I enjoyed the fight. I thought it was a very entertaining fight. I mean, obviously, I was a little bit gutted for JDM because I wanted him to win. But, the game's the game. If you can't stop Islam Makhachev's takedowns, you will get taken down and you will be controlled on the ground. But that is just a sport of MMA. It's not kickboxing. It's not boxing. It is MMA. Includes all of it. Wrestling, jiu-jitsu, sambo, all of it. So I mentioned this in my last video, but when strikers and wrestlers fight together, so there's a striker and then there's a wrestler, the wrestler always has the advantage. The striker is not able to get his game going because if you throw too many combinations, you're throwing yourself wide open to being taken down. And this is exactly what happened in this fight, in my opinion. I couldn't really see JDM getting his shots off very well. He was very I don't want to throw too much because then I might get taken down, and it just completely disrupted JDM's whole game there. That's just how the game game goes, unfortunately. Like I said, mixing up the grappling and the striking for any MMA fighter is a really tricky puzzle to solve. When there's a constant threat of, oh, you're going to get taken down, or I'm going to punch you in the face, or I'm going to get taken down, it can mentally exhaust someone. And if there's a threat of the takedown, if the striker's worried about being taken down, he's not thinking about the fucking punches. So Islam Makhachev can land punches and lots of body kicks, which I like to see. This is exactly what happened with Khabib and McGregor. McGregor was so worried about getting taken down and the ground and pound and this and that he wasn't worried about what was coming upstairs. And then that's what led to Khabib landing a hard punch on his head, which then sent him to the canvas. So in my opinion, after that performance, I think that Makhachev should stay in the welterweight division. I think he looks a lot stronger there and he's more equally sized. I mean, him versus Volkanovski is as great as Volkanovski did in their first fight. There's such a massive size difference, and I just think it's fair if Makhachev stays in the welterweight division. I think it's only fair. You know, JDM was like 5'11", 6 foot. Makhachev's 5'10". You know, he's more equally matched to these people. I mean, in terms of skill, he's a lot better, in terms of grappling especially. But size does matter in a fight. And I think that if you're going to make a real statement, you need to fight people that are your own size. And Islam Makhachev will need to stay in the welterweight division to do that. And looking at this fight, it actually makes me realise just how good Dustin Poirier did. I mean, Dustin Poirier went 5 rounds with him. Yeah, granted, he got submitted in the 5th round, but he looked bloody good. He didn't let the grappling, you know, hinder his striking ability. He went tit for tat for 5 rounds. Yes, he got submitted, but he looked very, very good in that fight. And miles better than what JDM looked in this fight, hands down. And it even goes to show how much of a fucking badass Volkanovski is. He went 5 rounds with him. In my opinion, was very, very, very close to winning that fight. It was so close, and Islam just took it. And how tall was Volkanovski? 5'7"? 5'6", I don't know. So to be like someone who's 5'6", 5'7", and to go 5 rounds with Islam Makhachev when a 6 foot, 170 pound JDM couldn't handle him, that's very, very impressive. So Volkanovski should definitely be proud of that, because that's bloody good. Dustin Poirier was able to defend takedowns a lot better than JDM. He was able to get his striking going a lot better than JDM. It is such a shame that Dustin Poirier retired, because he had the opportunity probably to go up to 170 as well, and he would have done very well, especially against JDM. And I'm not hating on JDM. I think he's looked very good in his fight against Belal Muhammad. He's looked very good in his fights up until now. And he didn't even necessarily look really bad in this fight. It's just that Islam Makhachev is so dominant with his wrestling and his sambo that he makes everyone look bad. So again, not hating on JDM. I wanted him to win. It's a shame he didn't win, but it just goes to show Makhachev's grappling and striking and overall just MMA game is just absolutely brilliant. And I look forward to seeing his next fight. Now we're going to move away from the JDM and Islam Makhachev fight, and we're going to focus on what happened in the crowd during the fight. Dillon Danis and the Makhachev team, surprise, surprise, got into a brawl. They got into a brawl in the crowd for the 2nd time in history. I couldn't possibly wonder why that was. It wasn't that Dillon Danis was posting stuff on his Instagram that, let's just say, wasn't very nice about Muslims. Anyway, Dillon Danis has now been banned from all UFC events in the future, as per Dana White, and you know, I can understand. I mean, you don't want brawls going on in the crowd every single time. Do you know what I mean? If he went to every single UFC event, he would find a way to get into a scrap. And I'm not even blaming him, because he is a scrapper. At the end of the day, you can't change scrappers. They are what they are. But Masvidal has said many times that if he actually sees Dillon Danis, that he will smack him up. We've got to talk about Leon Edwards. So Leon Edwards got knocked out in the 2nd round by Carlos Prates with a straight left, and it literally headshot dead. I mean, he literally flopped to the floor and he looked dead. This is the problem with Leon Edwards, man. He's such a good striker, and granted, last night's performance didn't really reflect that. He's such a good mixed martial artist, but he lacks self-confidence, and he's too patient for his own good. In every single fight that I've seen him in, he really struggles to get himself out of second gear. He constantly seems like he's willing to just coast to a decision. he doesn't really get that urge to really go for it and really like take the risk and get a knockout. He did do it against Kamaru Usman, but that's just one that I can think of the top of my head. So yeah, Leon Edwards, he got knocked out. It's a shame because obviously he is a fellow Englishman. Do have a little bit of patriotism, as much as I might get called racist for being patriotic. I think it's completely fine. Americans like to support Americans, Brazilians support Brazilians, Russians support Russians, so I'm going to support England, and if you've got a problem with that, then that's fucking tough shit, really, isn't it? So yeah, obviously devastated for Leon Edwards. I think he should probably think about retiring now because he's lost a few fights in a row now, and to begin with, he never really had the urge to put on a spectacular performance. He never really wanted to take the risk and get the knockout or get the TKO or anything. He's just happy coasting in second gear, and when you start losing the will or losing the interest in actually putting on a good performance, I think it's time to hang the gloves up. So yeah, I think Leon Edwards should retire. As for Beneil Dariush, everyone was writing off Beneil Dariush for this fight, and they were right for doing so, because it turns out he got destroyed in 16 seconds by Benoit Saint-Denis. 16 seconds is very close to Conor McGregor knocking out Jose Aldo years and years ago. I mean, it was literally an absolute devastating knockout, man. It was straight away. It was straight into the fight. It just happened, and I was like, oh, all right. And there's one way to like make a comeback fight, isn't there, Beneil? I mean, I'm not blaming Beneil. I mean, obviously he wasn't trying to get knocked out, but it happened. He's looked really good in his performances before. Like, what's happened? Let's talk about the fellow ginger, Bo Nickal. Bo Nickal got a head kick knockout against Rodolfo. What the fuck? How do you say that? Rodolfo Vieira. I probably butchered that. So yeah, Bo Nickal obviously got finished by the Ridder in his last performance, and he really put on a statement in this fight. He went 3 rounds with, I'm going to call him Rudolph. He went 3 rounds with Rudolph, and Bo Nickal got a head kick knockout, which, you know, I'm very impressed. That was a very good head kick knockout. There's nothing better than a head kick knockout. Headshot dead. So yeah, well done to Bo Nickal for that. And last but not least, Michael Morales knocked out Sean Brady in the first round by an overhand and an uppercut combination, which just made him flop to the ground like a sack of spuds. So overall, this was a very good card. I was very entertained the whole time. Lots of knockouts, quite a few decisions on the prelims and the early prelims, and obviously the main event ended in a decision. Some people, I'm not a big fan of the whole holding people down and controlling them on the ground for the whole fight, and I can understand why. For example, Khamzat Chimaev, I mean, he literally didn't really do anything. I mean, he held him there, and he didn't do much. He didn't try and inflict any damage. He just tried to hold him on the ground. It was basically a cuddle, and I wouldn't say Islam in this fight did the same thing. He did land some strikes, and granted, he didn't really try and knock him out on the ground, but Islam Makhachev just did what he did best. He controlled him on the ground. He tried to get submissions. It didn't work out. He landed some significant strikes on the ground. It didn't knock him out, but it was a good fight. So overall, this whole event, UFC 322, was a good watch. Very, very entertaining. Obviously, I'm gutted for JDM, but I hope that he can reclaim his belt, unless it's against Islam Makhachev. So let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of this event. Do you agree with any of my takes? Do you disagree with any of my takes? Don't forget to leave a like on this video. Don't forget to subscribe and turn the bell notifications on so you get notified every single time I post a new video. And I will see you guys in the next one.